Hey guys, this is Crystal with sororitypackets.com. I'm waiting for people to join. These are so weird to me. If you guys call me, I will talk to you on the phone. If you want to come to my house, we can meet in person. I'm hoping that eventually, can you hear my sound? That eventually these live videos will start to feel normal, but right now they don't. And I'm sorry I'm a few minutes late, 2 minutes late. I have two daughters, for those of you that might follow me on my photography page or on my personal Facebook page. Anyway, they're little still, so we have a little while before sorority recruitment. Anyway, they're 11 and a half and 6 and a half, and my 11 and a half year old decided to start a dog sitting business this year in our home because the rule was mom is not driving you all over the place to work. But anyway, she has two dogs this week, and she just took them on a walk. So they were a little late getting out of the house. So anyway, I'm kind of waiting to see if other people join. I'm trying something a little bit new today on my laptop, so hopefully my voice isn't lagged like a few of the other videos that I've done. Let's see here. Okay, sorry, I don't want to be boring. You have a different view today too. We have mirrors. Here's my grandmother's handkerchiefs in the background. I honestly just trying to find good window light that's not blasting me out. And happy summer to everyone. I'm not sure where you are. If you join in, please leave comments and tell me where you're from. It will feel better if I'm talking to a live audience. I'm here in Texas, and it is blazing hot already. It's like, what, June 3rd, and welcome to summer. It's like been 500 degrees. It's so hot. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. So today's topic for the live video is maximizing your options. We obviously answer tons of questions about sorority packets. You know, every minute of the day I feel like the phone is ringing or we're getting emails about that sort of thing. But we are feeling like there's a lot of people that have lots of questions about the recruitment process. And so Carly and I, who works with me hand in hand, we've decided to start doing some live videos kind of more on the process. And that way you guys can tune in. And oh, thanks, Carly. The sound is good. I was so worried about that. You guys, my last few videos the lag time has been ridiculous. And so I'm sitting here watching my face, and it's like one of those bad, I don't know, language dubbed videos where their mouth is moving, but it's a different language and it's behind. And so anyway, good to know. Thanks, Carly. So anyway, we're going to talk about maximizing your options. This is something that Carly and I have both talked about. It's been on our heart. We know you guys are really stressed about recruitment in general. A lot of you have already gotten your packets out. If you haven't, don't stress. Every year, last year, June was one of our biggest months. It was as big as April. And so don't feel like a lot of you are just now making decisions on what school you want to go to. So please don't stress about that. If you haven't already sent out your packets, you still have time. But you definitely want to get on that soon, just so you give your rec writers enough time to write. As a busy and working mom, I definitely like to have about 4 weeks. But that's plenty of time. Honestly, 2 weeks is fine. It's just if I'm going out of town or something, you just want to make sure that the women that you're asking to write your recommendations are in town, they're not out of town. And then that way, yeah, they have enough time for the summer, because summer it's a different kind of busy, but they might be out of pocket and not be able to do a good job on your letter if you just give them a few days. So anyway, don't stress about that. Okay, so we're going to talking about maximizing your options. If you guys are not a member of our, well, I guess all of you are actually a member of our sorority scoop. But you can also, a lot of times the scoop emails are not as detailed as our blog. And so if you go to sororitypackets.com, and at the top right on the navigation bar, there's an area that says blog. And that's our Rush, we call it Rush 101. And we put really detailed information on there. One of our newest, I think it's actually the top of the list right now. So you can go there right now and pull it up while I'm talking. It might give you ideas for questions. But it is by Mackenzie, who is a recent grad of UT. Congratulations, Mackenzie. And we are so thankful that we reached out to her. She gave us information last year when we launched our ebook, which I'm not trying to do a big sales pitch, but if you guys don't have the ebook and you still find yourself asking lots and lots of questions, it really is very comprehensive. Not only do we kind of give you start to finish for the recruitment process, it's up to date. So we wrote it last year, and we've made edits to it as necessary. It has we sought out lots of current sorority members and recently graduated, because hello, I'm old. Carly isn't as old as me, but we're both further removed from college and what the whole process is. And so that's why I love kind of bridging the gap between moms and daughters. And I hear every day, oh my gosh, the process has changed, or I wasn't in a sorority, or things are different. So anyway, and I know there's lots of YouTube videos by young girls that are, you know, either like at University of Alabama or different places. And so I would definitely, reach out to all of those women and, you know, take their advice. What we try and do is, it's not just my advice, or it's not just Carly's advice. We work hand in hand with our local Pentalinics around here. We are constantly getting clients from all over, honestly, the nation. It's pretty crazy. We're definitely concentrated here in the South. But as questions come up that we don't know the answer to, we reach out to people who do know the answer, and we do our research. So we really try to help you with the process. So anyway, I'll just jump into today's topic. So it's maximizing your options. Guys, first of all, there are, just like in anything in life, there are so many rumors about the sorority recruitment process. So my first word of advice, and I know Carly would agree, is, you know, you got to take opinions of people that you trust, you know, read blogs, listen to us, go to your local Pentalinic, and then just like anything, you really have to sift through that information and decide for yourself what, you know, feels right for you. And go with that. You know, a lot of what I get phone calls for are, you know, really, one of the rumors, for instance, is about legacy. And I'm so thankful. We asked Mackenzie some really direct questions about recruitment process specifically at UT. And hey, we got tons of emails after that went live. You guys wanting specific information about all different schools. And so if we haven't replied to you, it's just, we actually have all of your emails, and we are looking for recently graduated girls from those schools to, you know, that are willing to give us more detailed information. So we're going to do that. But you can still take her information. It's going to be similar at a lot of the larger schools like Alabama, TCU, et cetera. I mean, TCU's not as large, but TCU's Greek population is rather large. And so the recruitment process, and I just say TCU because they're really close to where I live. So we get lots of questions about TCU, and it's where I pledge Chi Omega. So anyway, okay, so let me get back to maximizing your options and stay on target here. Anyway, someone told me that when you get older, your brain starts skipping around, and I didn't believe them until this year. I've noticed I can't keep, this is not good for a not naturally organized person. So I usually can keep a whole lot in my brain and stay on target, but if I start rambling, just say, okay, you're off target. Anyway, okay, so Mackenzie is a recent 2017 grad from UT, and we asked her lots of information, and it's on our blog. So please go there and read through. She also has more detailed information in our ebook, which has lots of valuable information, and it's not just her, but lots and lots of girls that we sought out to give us all sorts of tips, from what to wear, you know, things that they wish they'd known, all sorts of stuff through Sorority Recruitment. So a few rumors about UT, and I'm going to go ahead and add in a lot of other schools. So we've gotten a lot of emails expressing concerns about legacies, about cut criteria, and the overall competitiveness. Here's the deal. Sorority Recruitment is competitive. I will be totally honest. When I first started this business, it was because I was working hand in hand with moms and senior girls, because I'm a senior photographer based out of Texas. I've been doing it for 10 years. So I've seen a lot of change. But moms every year were repeatedly, and daughters, repeatedly getting just really stressed out about the process. And so, of course, at first I thought, gosh, you guys just need to be hanging out with each other, enjoying the last few months before they head off to college. This isn't that big of a deal, you know. And what I was mistakenly doing is thinking about my own recruitment process. And I was the first person in my family to go to college. And so no one had been in a sorority. My mom took my picture in front of our neighbor's crepe myrtle, and I sent it in. I mean, really, I kind of went in pretty ignorant about it, which worked a little bit in my favor because I didn't feel stressed out. I really just thought, oh, picking the house that I like the best. I don't think I really realized that they were also picking me. But I had a good rush experience. And so mistakenly, about 5 years ago, I started thinking that that was the same experience that was going on now. And while a lot of things are the same, it has changed a little. It's more competitive, not because the sororities are more picky or because of the rumors you hear that they're judging you by how you look or those sort of things. It's not a pageant, you guys. And I'm not dissing pageants either. I'm just saying that isn't really what it is. There's not one winner. But what is happening is that more and more, like I just told you, I was the first in my family to go to college. So now it's like if you don't go to college, it's really unusual. And so there's more women going to college. Therefore, there are more women going through sorority recruitment. Therefore, the quotas for the different sorority houses, that just leaves more girls than what there are quota to fill the houses with. So I hope that that kind of clears up some of those rumors. It's competitive because they have to be. And so that brings me to my first point about legacy. Okay, legacies are definitely valued by sororities, but not being in a legacy is not going to prevent you from being extended a bid. So please hear that. Legacies are definitely valued. I think it's really neat. I think it's fun when I've followed girls whose moms, you know, for instance, one of my good friends and neighbors, she's a Zeta, and her daughter is going to school next year. And I know secretly she's kind of hoping that she becomes a Zeta too, but overall she's open-minded and realizes that all the different chapters of Zeta on different campuses are different. And so she's totally open-minded to wherever her daughter feels a fit. And so with that said, being a legacy is, you know, not necessarily going to hurt or help you. And so it just is what it is. And so I've had a lot of clients ask, hey, you know, my daughter, I've had various questions, you know, like my daughter really wants to go on with an open mind. Is it going to hurt her if she is, you know, if she puts that she's a legacy? Listen, the sororities know this information. So it's better just to put it on there. It doesn't mean if you're going through recruitment, they are not automatically assuming if your mom Pi Omega, that means you're not open to any other sorority. So please keep that in mind for sure. Mackenzie was extremely honest about her own experience. She was not a legacy. And then she also is a recent grad of UT, so she's been going through recruitment on the other end. And she verified for us that, you know, they definitely know who legacies are, but there are plenty of girls that they really connect with and feel like would be a great fit for their house, and they extend bids, you know, every year. So just rest assured, you know, put that information down that your grandmother or aunt or mom were a legacy of a specific sorority, but don't feel like it's, you know, if you were not a legacy that it's going to hurt you or you don't have a chance. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to talk about. The other thing I want to talk about is kind of toward the end of recruitment. So while you're going through a recruitment, here's the deal. And Mackenzie talked about this. I love what she said. You really, you know, seek out wise counsel and wise advice. Maybe, you know, talk to girls that are recently graduated or something like that. My advice would be not to heed advice from, as much as we love our guys and the other fraternities. I remember this when I was in school, that there were all sorts of rumors from the different fraternities or guys that were there about the different houses. And so my suggestion would be that maybe to find somebody that maybe it's a best friend that's going to a different school. Maybe it's your mom, if you have a good relationship with your mom, and it's not going to cause strife or arguments. Just somebody maybe a little older that you can be your go-to while you're going through recruitment, that you can call and talk to at the end of the day. You're going to have all of the PNMs that you're going to be going through recruitment with, and you're going to be chatting it up all day, and that's fine. But I would just say when you go back to your dorm or you go back to your apartment, wherever you're living in that moment, that you know, if you need to talk about the actual recruitment process and what you're thinking and where your heart is leaning toward and where you felt fit, to have somebody, and think of them now, that knows you well, you know, and that you can call and talk to during that process, during the week, instead of airing it all out to all of the other girls that are going through recruitment. And so we've heard this time and time again from girls that are sophomores, juniors, seniors that are already in sororities, that for whatever reason, word tends to get back to them about what you're saying. So just be, tame your tongue. That's total scripture. I'm going to, definitely think about what you're saying and who's listening and who you can trust that's listening during that process. And the biggest thing, you guys, is to really keep an open mind. I think one of the worst things that you can do, and we've heard this said over and over and over again, so this is not, just some old mom talking about it. You really need to go in with an open mind. You've got to forget about a lot of the rumors that you've heard about the different houses on campus. A really good example that Mackenzie brought up is that at UT, there's this thing is like the top 6. And she mentioned that came from articles written in the 1980s. You guys, I was born in 81 and I'm old. So that's old information. And same thing, if I were to be giving you advice on here are the best sororities at TCU, well, yeah, that was in the early 2000s when I was in school. So it's different. And, universities are adding new chapters all the time. And every single year there are, 60 to 90, new members that are extended a bid. And that creates change within the chapters. And so while the national sororities might have certain expectations for grades or kind of what they're looking for in, women as far as leadership or, community service or whatever it is, while that might be the same, the women in the sororities are changing. And so please keep an open mind. It is not a cookie cutter type of deal. I was a Chi Omega at TCU. My top 3, were Pi Phi, Tri Delt, and Chi Omega. And I loved all 3, and I was really open to all. I, was fortunate to get my top choice. But to be honest, I kept really going back and forth between Pi Phi and Chi O. And looking back and even after, I know that I would have been happy with whichever I received. And so also keep in mind that not all girls are the same, especially in your pledge class. So there are girls there, and there might be one pledge class that's really heavy on girls that are excelling in sports. And then the next year it might be art and music, and, or it might just be kind of a really eclectic group. And so keep in mind that you are going to find people that are like-minded like you in a pledge class. I mean, we're hearing pledge classes are topping at 80 and 90 girls. And so that's a lot of women. And it would be hard pressed to think that you couldn't connect with and become really great friends with, a few of those women in your pledge class. So keep an open mind. And realize that, just because, you've heard a rumor about one member of this particular sorority, it does not mean that that represents an entire sorority. So I cannot stress that enough. So a few other things, I'm looking at my notes over here to make sure I have it. One thing that we really wanted to make sure is that you've heard the term pref card or bid card. Okay, that's a membership recruitment acceptance. It's a binding agreement, you guys. So whenever, whoever you go through pref rounds, so if you have 3 that you're going to see at pref round, you might not have 3, and that's fine. You need to make sure, our suggestion is that when you rank them that, that you put all 3 down if you're willing. But you need to keep in mind that, if it's a binding agreement. So if you know for sure that you are unwilling to accept a bid from a specific sorority, please don't write that sorority's name down. That is not what our advice is. Our advice is to not, that's called suicide bidding. Wish there was a better name for it. But when you just choose one sorority and you basically say, I'm going all in. If I don't get a bid from this sorority, then I'm dropping out. And our recommendation, it's not just mine, it's a lot of women in local Penn-Athletics that we've spoken to. Mackenzie, I mean, she's young, you guys. She just graduated from UT. It's her advice, too, to not just put all your eggs in one basket. So, but I did want to make sure that you understood that, you're indicating that you are prepared to accept a bid from any of the houses that you list on your bid card. So it's not just your first choice. Whatever you write down, you're saying, I'll accept a bid. So if you were to write down Tri Delt, Chi Omega, Pi Phi, and Pi Phi is who gives you the bid, then you're saying, if you wrote down Pi Phi, then you've said that you're going to accept a bid from them. So the other thing is, if you're extended a bid by your second or third choice and you choose not to accept it, you're not eligible to go through recruitment for a full year. And so that's kind of a huge bummer if, you aren't able to go through recruitment for a full year because you decided that the only place for you was one specific sorority. So, and also want to make a note about continuous open bidding and snap bidding. Those aren't options for you either. And so when those are an option for you is you do not receive a bid from any of those sororities that you had listed on your pref card. You'll automatically be eligible for continuous open bidding or snap bidding. And so we have a lot more information. I won't get into all of that, but it's really kind of a neat process for women that really want to be involved in Greek life and feel like they have something to give. And there's a lot more information. We might go over that in a later live, or if you're really dying to know, leave me a comment and we can answer that. But it's also in our ebook if that's something that you want to read through it. Okay, so we do encourage you to include every single house you visited, which I already mentioned during preference, on your final ranking form. And this is really what our entire live is about. It's maximizing your options. So, if your campus has 12 sororities and you've visited all of them and you've gotten down to 3 that you could see yourself being a fit in, then that's a really great place to be. And here's something else to consider. You guys, most everyone gets their feelings hurt. It's very rare that anyone goes through and doesn't get cut from any of the sororities that maybe they had ranked higher. So please keep that in mind. And a lot of times it really isn't a personal attack toward you. Listen, I've been on the other side. People aren't sitting around bad-mouthing other girls. I mean, a lot of times it might end up coming down to their quota or even grades. And so because we create sorority packets and help girls do that, that's a conversation I have quite a bit with moms and daughters. And so unfortunately, if your grades aren't, really what you wish they would have been in high school, instead of taking it super personally that it's about your personality or anything like that, it really could come down to something as simple as your grades. And especially certain sororities that have higher academic standards. I know Chi Omega is one of them. I know at TCU, I'm actually not sure if this is still the case, as where other sororities go ahead and initiate during first semester, Chi Omega doesn't do that until after grades are posted. So they do have pretty high academic standards, and I'm sure other sororities do as well. It's just that's obviously what I'm familiar with. But because of that, that might affect how they rank the girls, just because they're trying to play it safe, and you might have a really great reason for why your grades weren't as good in high school as what they could have been, or what you feel like you'll be able to do in college. And hey, if that is something that you are struggling with, that's looming over you, I think transparency is the best policy. And when you're going through recruitment, just be brave and bring it up. I mean, don't hide and act like they don't know what your grades are. We've also had lots of moms call us and say, hey, her GPA is actually not that great. We're just going to leave it off of her resume. And here's the deal. We can't force anyone to do anything. And the truth is there isn't really something that's set in stone for you to do on your resume. We have lots of great suggestions, but here's the deal. As an alum, alums need your GPA from high school, and most of the time your SAT, ACT scores to even write you a rec. And so if you don't have that listed, that just creates more work for the alum to have to call and ask you what it is. So, they know what it is. And so if it's something that is bothering you and you feel like you can address it, do it. Maybe mention to a girl that you feel that, during recruitment that you feel connected to and you feel that you can trust. If your gut tells you to do it, then just maybe open up the conversation and just ask and just give her, as long as it's a very honest answer about what that looks like. Like, hey, I went through a hard time. I don't know. My dad, it can be anything. I'm not going to come up, maybe someone really dear to you passed away your senior year, or I don't know, maybe it's something like you made bad choices, 1 year and, you've changed a lot, but by the time junior or senior year rolled around, it was really hard to kind of make up for that. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe you were, here, I'll be honest, in college, I had really good grades in high school. My first semester of college really rocked my world. I was pre-med and thought I could hang, and I had honors biology and honors organic chemistry, and it kicked my booty. Even my like easy classes at TCU were pretty tough. I was in like a Bible religion class that was really hard. And anyway, my point is that, you know, I was able to then come back after I dropped pre-med, and I got a 4.0 the next semester. And so I don't know. I mean, if I had been able to tell somebody, hey, like this was really hard. Like I was stressed out about leaving school. My freshman year was tough for me. I hadn't ever had to be so accountable to studying because, you know, in high school it kind of came a little bit easier, but organic chemistry, show me the person that organic chemistry comes easy to. But my point is that if you have a reason, just bring it up. I love what Carly wrote. So true. And it's for the chapter's benefit and yours. They want to know that making grades won't be a problem. Involved members not making grades can prevent you from going to formal functions. Great point, Carly. Okay, so all of this, so you know, it might be a blessing in disguise if grades aren't really your shot. I mean, obviously you're going to college, so that's the whole point, is that you're going to be studying. But if that's something that maybe is a little bit more of a struggle for you, I mean, it might end up being in your best interest to be a part of a sorority whose academic standards maybe aren't quite as high, or it might not be that they're not quite as high, but they have different protocol for initiation. And so I'll talk more about that later. But listen, I'm an open book, and I'm not perfect either. I actually didn't get initiated into Chi Omega when all of my friends did. And I was pretty sour about it. I was pretty bitter, honestly, because in my mind, I felt like, hey, there should be some sort of slack for the fact that I was pre-med and had really tough classes. But listen, that's not life. And since I've gotten older, I've realized life ain't fair, and those were my choices that I made in my classes, and I had the same standard as my other friends, no matter what their major was. And so I ended up getting initiated just a few months later, and honestly, it spurred me on, and I ended up getting a 4.0 the next year, probably out of pride, which really isn't a good thing. I did work hard, but it was more like to prove a point that, you know, I don't struggle in school, because it was something that bothered me. But anyway, the point is that it might end up being a blessing in disguise for you if you get a bid from another sorority who doesn't maybe have as high of academic standards, and that might help you. So anyway, kind of went off on that tangent. And I mean, too, we talked about legacies. I wanted to mention about grades, really about preference. Yeah, I really feel like I covered everything. Does anyone have any questions? I'm not sure. I know it's a Sunday, and if there's a better time for you to be able to join these lives, we have a small group here. Our sororities group is about 6,000 strong. I'm not sure how many of those members are on Facebook, but definitely share with your friends who are going through recruitment, are needing some advice. We send out weekly emails to Sorority Scoop, which you know because you're a member, and this is what this private forum is for. So we've noticed some more activity with moms and daughters. If you have questions, no question is stupid. That is what every mom says to me. Let me just tell you, when they call, the first thing is, like, I'm a dummy, or I'm stupid, or I don't know this, or it's changed since I went through, or I have no idea, I wasn't in a sorority, or I'm from up north and not from Texas, and so, or I'm not from the South. I mean, I get those things all the time, so no question is stupid. Honestly, I've had to relearn a lot of this because it's changed a lot, but this is something that me and my team are really invested in. So we don't just sell sorority packets. We actually started just helping moms and daughters. The sorority packets idea just came from, you know, it being a need that moms wanted. I found that a lot of women are like me. If you're like me and you go on Pinterest, I get so frustrated when I see something really cute. Like the other day, there was this succulent wreath that I'm like, oh, I love this. I want this for summer. And I clicked on it, and it was this beautiful blog this, you know, really beautiful girl had put together on a DIY on how to make this succulent wreath. You guys, I mean, I'm not crafty at all. And so I thought, I just want to buy it. So anyway, that's what sororitypackets.com is for. It is not for the do-it-yourself. For the do-it-yourself moms and daughters, we are here for Sorority Scoop. You can follow our blog. We have tons of free resources on our website that a lot of people don't know about. So we have resumes, cover letters, written by professional writers. And anyway, that you can use at your discretion. So it's all there for free. And if you know how to use Photoshop and make pretty stationery, by all means, go for it. But if you're like me and you're, you know, super busy with outside job or whatever, and you just want to, you know, be able to have somebody else do it for you, that's what our service is about. So anyway, and we also have our ebook. I'm not sure, a lot of people don't know about it. we haven't marketed a ton. I think we're going to try this year because we've gotten really good feedback last year when we launched it from moms and daughters. It's an easy read. It has tons of information. We're going to keep adding bonus material. So if any of you have it and have read the book and you have suggestions for additional information or questions that you might have had. We've only received like 5-star reviews that said great information. We actually are good with critical feedback. We really are. We take almost every problem that is given to us and we try and, create something for you guys, pump out information. That's our heart. So I feel like this has gone about 30 minutes now, which is a little bit long for a live, but hopefully I'll get better at this and it'll be easier to watch. Hopefully I've answered the questions that we kind of intended to. So this topic was maximizing your options. So go in with an open mind. Moms, if you're watching this for your daughters, even if they won't listen to you, surely they have someone in their life that they listen to. Maybe it's a coach. I'm a coach, so sometimes that happens. I'll ask my moms, okay, what is it that you're working on? I coach little ones, so, well, not that little. They're like 12 and 13 and younger, but I'm always like, what are you working on at home? And I'll try and emphasize that on the court. But maybe it's a trusted coach or a teacher or an aunt. Sometimes aunts and cousins and things are easier to talk to than moms. Anyway, whatever it is, just try and express to your daughter to just tamper the rumors that she's hearing, and you too, and to really go in with an open mind and really to trust your gut. It's a really, I'm so much about that as a female. It's so easy to take so much outside information on who we are, who we should be, what we should look like, all of these different things. And so at almost 37, I'm still learning those things too. And this is a really good start for that, to go in and learn to listen to your own self and where you feel comfortable, and not, you might walk into, I don't know, a house that you heard rumors was not a good house, which I never understand what that really means. What does that mean? Every person in the sorority is bad? I mean, it's kind of crazy. College is different than high school. I mean, it is different. It's not like there's one top dog or something. I mean, there's tons of girls in college and women that have so much to offer and so much to give, and the houses are not cookie cutter. So anyway, it's a really good first time to go through Rush, to listen to your gut, to learn how, sometimes life doesn't deliver the best. And so when you get your feelings hurt, you've got to realize that everyone else is in the exact same boat, and not just, become bitter and closed off about it, and to keep an open mind and an open heart. So there's a couple flip sides. It's like, if, disappointment is real. So I'm not pretending that. I've experienced it in disappointment, but you've got to be able to move past disappointment and not let it paralyze you. And look, I'll be the first to say, Rush Week is, what's a good word? It's a kind of an unnatural friend-making process. But if you think about it, there really isn't another way. It's not, some people have said deferred recruitment is kind of the solution to that. But in my opinion, and it's not just my opinion, some girls that I know that have attended SMU and Baylor, I've gotten some various feedback on deferred recruitment. And sometimes it can almost make it worse because you've spent a semester being infiltrated with the rumors of what you've heard about different sororities. So you really have this expectation going into it. And so I would really suggest that, my deferred recruitment girls, that you really try and reach out and meet different girls, from all different sororities. And again, just go in with an open heart and an open mind, and trust your gut. You're the one that has to live with, it's your life and your decisions. And so, take the advice with a grain of salt, or, and don't put a ton of stock into it, but, just go into each house trying to make real connections with the girls, and just see how you feel. So, okay, we're at 33 minutes. I'm going to close now. Let us know what it is that you want to hear. Something that's on my heart that I want to talk about that maybe I can do next week is just some conversation starters and things like that. You can scour the internet and find tons of different things. What Carly and I have discussed, we have a little bit of a different take on that. Anyway, like I said, I'm using a pageant. It's not really an interview. Hi, Kimberly, welcome. Glad you could join in. So I think that might be something that I can discuss next week is, conversation starters and things like that. And like I just said, you could scour the internet and find tons of things. The difference is that sorority recruitment, it's not, you're not like on display trying to prove yourself. You're trying to make connections. And so a lot of the advice that Carly and I have both found out there is maybe advice that you would give someone that might be like more in like a pageant process, that's standing up in front of a live audience, trying to win people over, which is really different. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that, but it's a different process. Sorority recruitment is a lot more like an interview. And so these are valuable tools that you can use even past the recruitment process when, you girls are trying to get internships or get a job, land a job after college. So it's something that Carly and I are excited to talk about. And this week, maybe we can chat about what that looks like, and you guys can tune in next week. Or we might push it out a little bit as it gets closer. But I know we've had lots of questions about that. And so believe it or not, I'm kind of introverted. So I think Carly's extroverted. Carly, are you extroverted? It might be good. Maybe there's something that we could possibly do together to give different insight. Anyway, this was really good. Please leave questions. Kimberly, hopefully you can rewind and check out the whole video. And anyone else who joins in, go ahead and just write a comment to us. You see Carly was commenting. Let me know if I left something out and how we can make these better. These are for you. This is not for me to look at myself talking. So thank you so much for tuning in to our Facebook Live. We hope that you guys can find a little community here. If you leave questions, we will answer, and hopefully other moms and daughters will start chiming in. We would really love that. That is our entire purpose, is to try to help you navigate the process so it's not so difficult. So thank you so much, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.